After a few days' rest in Rentalia, I began preparing for the journey to Terria South, a land of dense jungles, whispered legends, and secrets older than the sea itself. Scholars speak of it with equal parts awe and caution. Not because people dwell there, few do, but because scholars say the island itself breathes, watches, and remembers. I gathered my supplies with care: dried provisions, water flasks, rope, climbing gear, a weather cloak, and 3 maps, each of which disagreed with each other. In a shaded quarter of the market near Uriel Square, I found a strange old compass. Its brass dulled with time. The merchant claimed it once belonged to a sky navigator who charted storms. The needle clicked faintly when turned east. A magic sign? I bought it without haggling. A good omen, or at least I hope so. By chance or fate, a merchant ship was leaving the next morning, headed east. The captain, a hard-eyed woman named Varia, told me of a brief stop in Santa Relore to unload salt and wine. Santa Relore. The same sun-bleached harbor town I'd left not even a month ago. Funny how the path forward can circle back around. Maybe the gods enjoy irony. The second leg of the journey was a trial. 2 days out, a black-bellied storm found us. The winds howled like hungry beasts, tearing at the sails with claws of salt and thunder. Waves crashing over the deck, swallowing ropes, barrels, and once, nearly a man. The crew fought like demons, soaked and shouting. I stayed below deck, clutching the bunk. We survived. Barely. Santa Relar hadn't changed. Still too hot, too loud, and too full of fish. I spent a few days healing my sea legs and repairing my gear. My pack had split at the seam during the storm, and my boots needed oiling, but mostly I wandered. In taverns thick with pipe smoke and the smell of fried squid, I traded coins for stories. Every sailor, drunk or sober, had something to say about Terria South. Some swore the jungle was haunted, ghosts drifting between the trees, whispering in ancient tongues. Others told of buried temples where gold grew like moss, left behind by gods or monsters. One man, face scarred from jaw to ear, warned me never to follow the singing sea. He lost men to that sound. Good men who walked off the deck with peaceful smiles, never to surface again. Their words didn't frighten me. Well, not really. But they left fingerprints on my thoughts. Even the shopkeepers had warnings. One old woman who sold dried herbs and bone charms said pirates ruled the southern waters now. Dozens of ships had gone missing. Trade routes shifted like fleeing animals. But the danger came with opportunity. With so few daring the journey, prices for the passage dropped. I secured a spot on a battered freighter bound for Terria South's western coast. The crew was gruff, and the ship stank of old fish. But it would get me there. The morning of our departure was strange. The harbor was still. No gulls, no chatter, just sunlight and the creak of dock lines. The sea was glass, unbroken by wind or wake, as if the world itself paused to watch us go. I spent most of the voyage in my small cabin, hunched over the leather-bound book I had stolen from the Eternal Athenaeum. I'd told myself it was a necessary crime. The book was way too important to be left unread on a dusty shelf guarded by bureaucracy and dust. The book whispered its secrets slowly, written in a Navian script. Its pages smelled of ink, ash, and something else. Like petrichor trapped in the leather. I deciphered symbols, sketched out fragments, and puzzled over hand-drawn maps hidden between the pages. The map showed a city or something not found on my maps. It also showed a section of Terria South with warnings in the margins. Where the wind forgets its name. And do not ask the trees for answers. They lie. Some nights, I heard it again. Singing. Not loud, not near, just there. A lullaby from the waves, sweet and eerie. Remembering the sailor's tale, I stayed inside, closed my eyes, and waited for the sun to rise. At dawn, land appeared. Terria South rose from the sea like a myth made of flesh. Mist curled over jungle peaks, thick with green and shadow. Trees towered above the shore, ancient and tangled, their trunks wide as cottages. Birds wheeled through the air. The coast was sharp and wild. No docks, no buildings, no signs of man. We dropped anchor. The captain told me they'd return in 2 weeks, spending about 3 days loading up new cargo. And if I lived, and was waiting here before they left, I'd have a way home. I thanked him, stepped into the rowboat. I was seated next to small crates and cages. As I turned toward land, I let the jungle fill my eyes. Terria South. The heat met me like a second skin, humid, heavy, and unrelenting. My boots sank into the mud as I stepped onto land. The ship drifted away behind me. Map in one hand, machete in the other, I began. The jungle was no place for kindness. Rains fell hard and fast, drenching everything. The air was thick, like breathing through wool. Insects sang in constant chorus, and sleep was rare. Every plant seemed to reach for me. Thorns, vines, leaves, all with razor-like edges. The ground rose into steep hills and then cliffs. Sharp teeth of stone that sliced the jungle in two. The map hinted at a narrow pass, which was barely visible. I followed it, scrambling up wet rocks, pack heavy with water, and as always, I felt it. The island watching. Its eyes were inhuman. In the rustle of leaves that didn't match the wind, in the sudden silence of birds, in the feeling that I wasn't alone, even when I was. The jungle teemed with life. I saw green-scaled lizards that howled like wolves, butterflies that shimmered like stained glass, and birds that mimicked my voice flawlessly and mockingly. Every sound felt deliberate. I thought of the Anavians. They weren't myth to me. I had met one once. A tall, falcon-headed figure, cloaked in dusk blue silk. The wings on his back spanned wider than I could reach, feathers tipped with brown. He spoke a language I did not understand, but he called himself an Aryan. Their homeland was said to lie southeast of here, and if the book is right, the MonGoGo is near, buried in ruin or shrine, protected by wind and memory. I hope to see them again. The Anavians of this place.